The allegations of China spying on the UK is pure fabrication. China firmly opposes it. We urge the UK to stop spreading false information and stop its anti-China political manipulation and malicious slander.
Well, Leon Emirali is a former political advisor and joins us live now from Bedfordshire here in England, and East England, I should say. Leon, what do you make of China's reaction to all of this, and indeed the timing of the UK imposing these sanctions?
Well, I think China's reaction is quite strong. They clearly are denying that they have attempted to interfere in the democratic process in the UK. But I think that in particular, David Cameron, of course, former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, now Foreign Secretary, is under a lot of pressure to adopt a hard-line stance towards China after these alleged spying incidents. The problem there is that the perception of David Cameron in the UK is that he was the Prime Minister who effectively opened the door to China, was trying to court them in many ways to become a more prominent trading partner with the UK. And he's under pressure from a lot of the right wing in the Conservative Party who want to see a more Chinese skeptic stance adopted by number 10 Downing Street. So it's a political problem as well as a diplomatic problem. And I think that is causing a lot of headaches in number 10 Downing Street this evening.
And what are the sanctions that have been imposed here, and what sort of impact could they have, if any?
Well, these are sanctions against the individuals who are allegedly involved in these particular attacks. So it isn't sanctions on China as a whole. I think that would be very difficult for the UK to implement. The UK has a lot at stake when it comes to its trading relationship with China. Naturally, China is the biggest importer to the UK, but it's also the sixth largest export market for us here in Britain as well. So really important trading partner. So for the UK to be able to set sanctions against individuals seems like to be a proportionate response rather than some sort of statewide blanket against Chinese assets. However, that said, China has now been recognized by Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, as the greatest economic threat from a state to the UK. And that's quite powerful rhetoric coming from the Prime Minister directly. So I think there certainly is a cooling in the relationship between the UK and China. And it's becoming a big problem for David Cameron, for Rishi Sunak and others in government to get their head around how quite best to handle this.
And the UK has come under some criticism for not going hard enough on China or those responsible, and for being too slow in particular to impose these sanctions. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree. I think that when it comes to this type of incident, when you are going to be putting sanctions on individuals from a foreign country, I think you have to be taking the right approach, and that should be calm, pragmatic, not acting in the heat of the moment. Now, I do understand why a lot of Conservative MPs on the right of the party are calling for greater, more stringent sanctions against China to redefine the UK's relationship with China. We've seen it over a number of years, whether that was through the role of Chinese state companies in British infrastructure. So Huawei, the mobile infrastructure company, were banned effectively from providing 5G technology in the UK. We've just seen images of TikTok on your screen. Of course, a great presence for TikTok in the UK as well. And I think we are now moving towards a more American-style relationship with China, when we do take a more hostile approach, when we are more skeptical about Chinese interests in the UK market, while still trying to retain some semblance of a positive trading relationship, because that ultimately underpins our diplomatic relations with Beijing.
Leon, thank you very much for your time and for taking us through that. Leon Emirali speaking to us live from Bedfordshire here in England.
Thank you.